In this video, I'll show you step by step how to create a how to draw book with AI and Canva so you can start selling it on Amazon KDP. So if you're new to the channel, my name is Sean. I've made over 7 figures from my own Amazon KDP business. I've taught this business model to over 1,500 people in my program. And through that, a lot of my students are doing 4, 5, or even 6 figures a month. So if you want no BS advice from someone who is actually doing this, then make sure to subscribe. All right, so today we're taking a look at this brand right here, Emma Green, and you can see that she has just a couple books. So the total of just 3 books, and she makes over $547,000 in revenue. Although, to be honest, 2 of these are duplicates. So I think it's about half of this, around $250,000 a month, which still is absolutely incredible. If you add the spiral bound, I think it's about another $8,000. And this is the bestseller. How to Draw Everything, 300 drawings of cute stuff, animals, food, gifts, and basically everything in a cute style, right? So if we go and take a look at here, this is how the interior looks like. Basically, they have different categories, animals, food and drinks, toys and sports, amazing things, right? And then it looks like this. So just a bunch of cute stuff. And you can see that it is just a step-by-step instructions on how to draw this. So it's about 3 illustrations per page. And basically you do that for 300 of them, which means it's about 100 pages because it's 3 per page. So pretty straightforward. And I'm going to show you how you can create this. But right now this book is selling really well at 21 BSR, which is absolutely amazing because these books do really well during Christmas time. So it is making between $1,800 to $4,000 every single day. So that is $60,000 to $120,000 a month, which obviously this number is inflated because it's Christmas time. But even if you look at it through the past 1 year, right? Even at the lowest this year, this book was at 490 BSR, which is making thousands of dollars every single month just from this one book. So basically throughout the year, it sells amazing. To see this data, I'm using a tool called BookBeam. By the way, if you guys want to check it out, the link is in the description. But going back to the product details, you can see that this is a 110-page book at 8.5 by 11 dimension, which is going to be important information because now I'm going to show you how you can create a very similar book like this. So the very first step in creating your own book is to brainstorm ideas, right? For this example, the book is about how to draw everything, featuring 300 drawings of cute things like animal, food, gifts, and other amazing items. So it's a book designed for kids, and as you can see from the table of contents, it includes animals. Now there are several animals to draw, and we also have categories like food and drinks, toys and sports, random things. So basically as a brainstorm process, you just want to write down all your ideas in a notepad or anywhere. But I'll give you an example to save some time here. All you need to do is go to ChatGPT, which is free. And here you can create a prompt to generate unique and engaging main ideas for your drawing book. Okay, so for instance, you can type something like, your task is to list 10 real-life general ideas for a children's drawing book to expand their knowledge of the world, similar to categories like animals, toys, and sports that kids age 3 to 6 will love. Now enter. And here are 10 generated ideas from ChatGPT. For example, one idea is about animals. Don't worry too much about the title. Focus on the concept or the topic. So you can use animals if you want. But to create something unique that hasn't been done by this example brand, we can come up with something new, right? So something like vehicles, or we can teach children how to draw cars, trains, bicycles, anything that moves fast, right? Another idea is creating a drawing guide for weather and nature, including trees, fluffy clouds, sunflowers, those kind of things. We can, choose the idea later. Whatever idea you want to go with, that's up to you. But for now, I'll give you an example of how to get specific ideas and how to edit them, okay? So for instance, you could go with, let's say, underwater life, like a fish, or musical instrument, which is a fun topic, right? So another idea is space wonders, which could include planets and other things that kids might recognize. So the next step is to generate more specific ideas within this. So let's take the example of weather and nature, right? To do this, we'll send another follow-up prompt to ChatGPT. For instance, we can ask something like, under the topic of weather and nature, your task is to list 30 fun and simple ideas that children can easily draw. And here's the results. For weather, it suggests items like the sun, clouds, and raindrops. A cloud, for instance, is one of the easiest to draw, right? A fluffy cloud could add like a 3D feel for kids. For nature, suggestions include trees, but those might be a little harder for younger kids. It really depends. So another idea could be bird's nest, but whatever idea you got, you want to take note and include in your book. So obviously, weather and nature is just an example. You can do whatever category or whatever design you want. So once you have these ideas for a simple line drawing, let me show you how to create this. So what you want to do is go to Midjourney. The cool thing is there's an updated Midjourney that allows for better line art generation. So the latest version includes improved algorithms for rendering line art styles. So this is a great way to get started. So you want to start by going into Discord, which is how you use Midjourney, and write a prompt putting /imagine. And we're going to put simple black and white line art illustration of a subject, age 3 to 6, feature thick outlines, no shading, no background. So for this subject, we're just going to replace this with a cloud, and let's click enter. So this is what I got, right? This one I managed to generate on the first try. For other designs, it took me a couple tries to get the kind of image that I want. But in this case, the one on the top right looks very clean, right? And also keep in mind that later we can remove any unnecessary parts. So the key aspect we're looking for in line art is the absence of shading or grayscale elements. This is why I chose this one. And once you've found a good image, all you need to do is click upscale. So you'll see options like U1 to U4 representing 1, 2, 3, 4. I clicked on U2 and I also clicked on upscale subtle, and the result looks like this. So you might not notice a significant difference in quality right away, but it does improve doing this. So the final image will have this clean line and minimal details, and you can repeat this process for all the images you want to create. So simply change the subject and adjust the prompt as needed and get all your images this way. So let's go back to our inspiration book, which is the How to Draw Everything book, and look at the interior again. So as you can see, they have 4 steps, right? Starting from the scratch, then the main outline as the 4th and final step, followed by, in descending order, the 3rd, 2nd, and finally the 1st step. So the image that we just generated is basically the 4th step of this process, right? This means we only need to remove certain elements from this image to make it basically represent the 3rd step, and then the 2nd step, and then the 1st step. And the 5th step will be the practice part. For this, you'll just leave a section for your customer. So let me show you how to remove elements from your existing image. So first you want to go to this website, pixelcut.ai, background remover. I'll leave a link below this video for you guys to access it easily. But this free image background remover allows you to remove backgrounds from images. Okay, so aside from background removal, it also lets you manually remove specific parts. So it's super useful. But to use it, just click on upload image and upload any file you want. For instance, we'll use the one we generated earlier, which is a PNG file. Once you upload it, click on refine. Using the refine option, you can remove elements you don't want, such as small details or dust particles. So if there are minor grayscale areas, you can remove them as well. Just zoom in and use a smaller brush to refine the image further. You can click to remove or refine areas with a smaller brush, as you can see here. Now, instead of starting from scratch, we'll begin with the final version, which is the 4th step, once again. And our goal is to create the 3rd part of the tutorial, which means the image is almost complete, but not quite. It's missing a couple things. So to do this, we're just going to remove a couple things. So first, let's refine it to match the desired final sample. Like we can fix the lines, soften certain areas, adjust the brush size to make it smoother. So as you can see, some parts were removed unintentionally, so you can just use the restore button to fix this. We can make the brush smaller and restore the necessary sections, then switch back to erase to further refine it. So once it looks good, save the clean version by clicking done and downloading it. This will download the image. It's completely free. You don't have to buy anything. So now that we have basically the step 4 part downloaded, the next step is to create step 3, right? So refine the image once again, removing certain details to make it look almost complete. For instance, we can remove elements like these extra details here and zoom in and carefully remove those additional details. Once that is done, the 3rd part of the instruction is ready, right? Step 3 is ready. So click done and download the image. So once that's done, then you want to refine it further, basically remove a couple more things to create step 2 of the process. So for the 2nd step, you want to remove all facial features and download that version. Now for step 1 part, just refine again, right? So in this step, imagine how you would draw it, for example, starting with strokes from left to right. So we can remove the bottom part since the 2nd step will provide a complete outline. So something like that, and click done and download the image. So the next step we need to do is to go to Canva. Canva is free, it's beginner friendly, it's a great way to get started. But first, you need to go to create a design and set the units to inches and set the width to 8.5 inches and the height to 11 inches because this is the standard size for books like these. But before you go and create a design, I actually forgot to show you one thing, which is basically learning how to choose the right trim size, bleed, and margins, right? So first, you need to learn the difference between bleed and no bleed. So we want to look at the images here on the left side. This shows the book interior during file setup. So on the left side here, the page is no bleed, and you can see the image stays within the margins. On the right page, however, the image extends beyond the margins, right? So you can also see the line here, which indicate the parts that will be trimmed. So as shown on the right side of the screen, both sides have been trimmed. On the left side, everything remains intact, while on the right side, some parts of the images were cut off. So it depends on what kind of books you want to make. For example, if you're creating a journal with lines that runs from left to right, like all the way at the end of the page, then you will need to use a bleed setting. So when you use bleed settings, more of the page will be trimmed. So for an 8.5 by 11 book, if you add bleed to it, then the size changes from 8.5 by 11 to 8.625 by 11.25 because the excess, the additional little bit, will be trimmed off. So next, let's talk about the margins, and we want to focus on books between 24 and 150 pages. Since the book we're looking at is 108 pages, we're going to try and create something similar. For inside margins, it should be 0.375 inches. So if you're using bleed, the margin should be at least 0.375 inches for both inside and outside margins, which keeps it pretty simple. So going back to Canva, you want to update the size settings. So instead of 8.5 by 11, you want to put 8.625 inches and the height to 11.25 inches and create design. So the first step is to set up the margin, right? To do this, you want to adjust the settings here and zoom in and set the margins to 0.375 inches. It doesn't have to be perfect, but it should be close to 0.375 inches. For example, this says 0.376 inches, which is fine. As long as you're over it, it's okay. You want to repeat this process for the other sides, basically all corners. So an easy way to do this is you want to click on elements, then select a shape, drag the shape to the top left corner and resize it to match the margin size. Next, move the shape all the way to the bottom right corner, then adjust the margins for the other sides. And this ensures all sides have a margin of pretty much around the same 0.376 inches. So once the margins are set, just delete the shape. So the next step is to basically create something similar to the example book. So to do this, take a screenshot of it and paste it into Canva. So here is the inspiration book. You can use a shortcut Start plus Shift plus S to capture a specific part of the screen. Then just click and select the area you need. Now go back to Canva and paste a screenshot here. We can also crop the parts that are not really needed. So let's just zoom in and focus on this page as it'll be the most important part. So now that we have the idea here, we need to create an outline box divided into 3 sections. To do this, click on Elements and then click on Shape. So let's close this one here and place it at the top part. Move it all the way to the right, and then let's add corner rounding around 20. For the border weight, we can set it to 5. As you can see, the border here is currently solid, but we can change it to dots, something like this. Next, for the inside of the box, we'll leave it pure white. To do this, click on the no color option. The next step will be to extend it all the way to the bottom to check what's the height of the page. In this case, it's 10.5 inches from margin to margin. So we just need to divide that by 3, which gives us 3.5 inches. So the height of each box will be 3.5 inches. So let's copy and paste it twice. Place one box at the bottom so it reaches the margin and the second one in the middle. So there's a guideline here, and as you can see, it aligns the boxes very well. So that is looking pretty good. The next step is to upload the file we edited earlier, which is the cloud design. So I've uploaded here. The next step is to arrange it. So first, take the half-sized image and place it in the top right corner and make it a little bit smaller. Then take the second part and make sure all the elements are the same size. Next, you want to take the third element and make it the same size as well. And finally, the last one. So this illustration is still a little bit large, and your customer won't be able to draw that big in this section. So we can make the illustration smaller by around 2.3 inches. So let's make sure everything is the same size. Now let's organize it here, adjust it here, here, and a bit more over here. So the next step is to click on Elements and find arrows. So go to the graphics section. And by the way, the crown icon basically means it's only for Canva Pro users, which is the paid version. But there are plenty of free options as well. So let's select one and change its color to black for better visibility. Adjust its size, make it smaller, and adjust it like that. Next, you can copy this arrow and paste it here and paste another one. So if it doesn't align with the pointing line, just click the flip option and choose either horizontal or vertical. So adjust it again. To bring this example forward, you can click position, go to layers, and as you can see, it's in the background. So let's bring it to the front. Adjust this so it's not blocking other elements. And the next step is to add text. So the sample uses cupcake, but we're gonna be using cloud, right? So place it here, make it bigger, around size 20. And let's also change the font. So maybe to something like Comic Sans. Make it bold, I think it looks pretty good. And then adjust it and copy the text and paste it all the way on the right side. Rename it to practice and adjust it a bit. And that is it. You don't need to add the color design here as your customer will be the one drawing in here. But basically all you need to do is edit the generated image for the other pages. All right, so to save time, I skipped the part where I edited 2 other pages, but it's basically the same process. And as you can see, we have an umbrella and a flower. So I just copied the page layout, line placements, and everything else. So it may seem a little time consuming at first because you will have to generate 250 to 300 images. But for the second page, just add a new page, duplicate the layout, copy it, paste it, and delete the unnecessary elements. So for the second page, it's much easier because all you need to do is upload another element, resize it, change the name, and that is it. So once you're done with this process, you want to go to the top right corner, click share, then download, and you want to choose file type as PDF print. If you have Canva Pro, it's better to use the CMYK to download. But if you're on the free version, then we'll go with RGB and click download. So the next thing you need to do is to create your book cover. But before that, we got to make sure of the dimensions of the book once again. So to do this, you want to go to the KDP cover calculator, which I'll leave a link below. So this step is important because it helps you determine your book size, which serves as the foundation of your cover design. But let's go ahead and fill out the information here. So for the binding type, we'll select paperback. For the interior, we'll choose black and white. For paper type, we'll go with white paper. For reading direction, we'll go left to right. For measurement, inches. And for trim size, it's 8.5 by 11. Don't worry about the additional, 8.625 by 11.25 thing that we did with bleed. We're just gonna go with the original size, which is 8.5 by 11. For page count, just put your total page count. Let's just say my book is 100 page, so we're gonna put 100 pages here. Now click on calculate dimensions, and you will get a book cover template like this. So this section shows the areas that'll be cut off. So you don't want to cover important parts like the barcode area. But once you check everything, download the template. After downloading, open Canva, and in the downloaded file, open the PNG file. So this will display the overall book dimension, and you can see the dimensions are 17.475 inches by 11.250. So next, go back to Canva, create a design, go to custom size, and input the dimensions, which is 17.475 by 11.250, and click create design. So next, upload the PNG file to Canva like this, and close the Elements tab, and align the template on the canvas. So lower the transparency so you can see the design better. And remember, the lines within the template indicate areas that'll be trimmed during printing. So now we have to decide what kind of design that we want on our book cover. So let's go back to our earlier book cover or book example. So here's our inspiration book. So we can get ideas from this, but we don't want to just rip it off, right? So what we can do is right click, copy it, and return to Canva and paste it here. And we'll use this as a guide. So fill the left side with design elements, and for the right side, we can imitate the layout as well. So just to clarify, the right side is the front cover, while the left side is the back cover. So let's also ensure the barcode area remains untouched. So here's the barcode section. We'll delete this later, but for now, let's keep it for reference. So this kind of design is typically created by professional designers, which I'm gonna show you how you can outsource to someone like that. But if you do wanna practice creating something like this on your own, then this is a great starting point. So a good activity book cover reflects the interior. So for example, this cover shows how to draw a cat step by step, and the interior has the same thing. So let's aim for a similar approach by using elements from the interior we've already created. So let's open the Canva file containing the interior designs. So here's an example. And this how to draw page is something we can use. So you can choose any element, but for simplicity, let's focus on creating something easy like this cloud. All you need to do is copy it. And be sure not to over-select, just copy the top elements and leave the bottom untouched. Once selected, copy and return to the book cover file. You want to create a new page as basically a blank workspace. Paste the elements here, delete unnecessary parts like this one, and adjust them to fit the design. Now let's move these elements into place. We'll refine it later, but first we need to add the book title. So go to text, add a text, and type the title. So let's begin by typing how, and instead of typing all at once, we're gonna copy paste sections. So for instance, we're gonna replace how with draw and repeat this for the entire title. And let's make the text larger, Make sure the text is bolded so it's highly readable as well. And you can experiment with fonts to make the design engaging. The Rubik 1 font works really well here, so that's what we're going to use. So let's apply this to everything, something like that. And let's make sure they have a consistent size, around 120. The word to draw seems to be too big, so we can make it smaller, maybe around 100 font size. The nature text can be slightly smaller than to draw, like around 90. So there'll be kind of a pattern or a balance here. And we can make this how larger. Something like that, maybe font size 150. Make sure they have enough space between each other. The next thing is to make sure the background matches. So it should match the audience you're targeting. So this one is pink, it's very girly, but in this case, let's try and target the boys audience. So let's select this background here first, click Ctrl+X and cut it. And cut and paste it onto the scratch page for the meantime. Now we can select the main background here and change its color. If you want to copy it exactly, you can add a new color, click pick a color, and just like that, you have the same color as the background. But for our book, let's not copy that. Let's make this for the boys audience. So as you can see, it looks pastel and this one isn't. We can experiment here with something lighter. So you can adjust this one as well so that it becomes brighter. And yes, something like that. So the next thing is to adjust this color here, or we can create an element. For ours, we can do a box instead. So the white text background is very good and works well for most designs, like book covers, for example. So yes, we can adjust it here. Make sure it's centered. There's a guide here. You can see the cross. The next thing is to create corner rounding. So let's set it to around 25. And I think we need to make it a bit bigger because we'll add another design. We can do so by copying this one here and pasting it here. Copy this and paste it, something like that. And now we can add a border style here, maybe set to 10 for the color. Let's choose this blue here. So also we can make it smaller and set the color to transparent like this. This way you got a design, fit it perfectly in the center, and it's good to go. So now we just need to adjust the text color. If you can't click the text because of an element here, you need to go to position, click on the layers, and you'll see it here. Move the element below the text so you can select it again. So for this section, let's use a slightly darker color compared to the background. So we can apply that. And for the other text, use something that contrasts the background color. So you can match the background color, go to settings, manually edit, and adjust it so it's now a bit darker, like that. Instead of manually editing it again for the other parts, you can copy the color code, Ctrl+C, and apply it to nature, because Canva saves the colors you're using. But if not, you can add a new color and paste the code. So yes, something like that. So it's looking good so far. Now for the how to draw, we can create a complementary color. So first, experiment with shades, imitate the shade here, go to settings and adjust. Try red, orange, yellow, or green. Red seems to pop well, so let's make it darker. And yes, like that. Adjust the border color too, so there's a complementary style. This doesn't look good, so let's put it back, and this one looks better. Next, we need to fix this area. So instead of coloring it or paying someone to color it, which takes time, you can add a background. So copy this and paste it and make sure it's smaller, like this example. You can go to position, layers, and place it below the drawings, something like that. Also, we need to create a design. So copy another layer and paste it here. Align it properly, go to position again and put it below the clouds, something like that. Adjust it from final to finish and ensure everything is a similar size. Adjust them properly once again and something like that. The next thing we need to do is add the target audience. So we can click on this one element and put it below here, just around this size, and make sure it goes all the way to the left. You can change this to something in a complementary color. Maybe we can use something yellowish, but I guess it doesn't really suit well. So maybe this darker blue suits better. The next tip is to create a text here. So add a text box and type kids age 3 to 6. This is too small, so all you need is click here, press Ctrl+A and make it bigger, around 50. Let's move it below and change the color to white. Let's change the font to a similar one, like Rubik. And the font size is kind of big, so we can make it smaller, around 35 here, something like that. We can adjust the letter spacing to 50, so it's very readable now. So we're almost done, but not yet. You need to make it engaging, right? So in this case, it has stars on the background and it also has colored drawings, but we can just go to the elements and think of something. So if we have clouds or content for nature, then we can create something different. Like instead of stars, we can think of something like a simple leaf. But since we have a bluish background, we can add water droplets. So let's go to the graphics here, something like this. But don't use the one with the crown icon, as those are premium images. So let's keep scrolling down and click on this one. and adjust it to the top layer. All you need to do is put it at the back. Now let's cut this inspiration cover and paste it here below because we'll be editing the other side. Let's copy this and paste it here, something like that. Aside from that, we can adjust different styles here, like adding simple water droplets. We can definitely use this one or this one. Let's just make it a swipe. Make it very small and randomly place them on the cover. Let's zoom in. The next thing we need to do is find elements similar to this. So since we have clouds, we can find something related to nature, like trees, something like this. We can use this one or this one that looks a bit more cartoonish and make it smaller. You also need to ensure it doesn't go all the way to the middle of the cover. So to do this, we can just put back the PNG template by cutting it from the scratch page and pasting it into the main page. Let's position it at the back. And you can see that some parts have gone all the way to the other side. Adjust them inside the front page. Adjust the tree element, and we can add other elements like the sun. And let's go for this one. Make it smaller. We can add a cloud as well. We can place it behind the sun, and other ideas include adding a flower. This one is simple. Let's make it smaller and put it at the top left of the title, something like that. And we can add more because there are still spaces here. So you just gotta be creative. But we can search for a mountain, something like this, and make it smaller. And we could add something like birds here. You can also add rock elements as this is part of nature. And you can also add rainbow elements to make the cover stand out. So finally, the cover is finished. All we need to do is remove the PNG template layer. So just go to the position and delete this PNG template. And you can also delete the scratch page. So that's it. The next thing you need to do is download the book cover. So just go to the top right corner, click on download and choose PDF print. If you have Canva Pro, you can use CMYK. If not, RGB is still okay. So click on download. So that is how you can create a how to draw book yourself. But as you can see, it's a lot of steps. It's very time consuming, but it is free. And that is a trade-off that you have to do. If you want to save money, it's going to take you a lot of time, right? Or if you want to save time, you can pay somebody to do this for you. So you have to ask yourself, which do you prefer, right? Do you want to save money or do you want to save time? Now, if you do choose to outsource, it's actually a lot cheaper than you think. There are Fiverr gigs out there where they will literally create the book interior as well as the book cover for you for these books. So this one, as an example, for $150, they will create the activity page, which is the interior, and also the book cover as well. And you can see some samples here and it looks pretty good. This is the other one for $140. He will go and create something similar like this, right? You just have to talk to them, give them instructions on what kind of book you want. In this case, a how to draw book. But you can see these samples, then the quality is really, really high. So if you guys want to try out both of these, I'll leave a link in the description below. And once you get the book interior and the book cover, the next step is to upload your book on Amazon KDP. If this is your first time doing it, I do have a step-by-step tutorial, which is another video. So I'll leave a link to this video below. Once your book is uploaded, then the next step is to get reviews. Same thing, I got a tutorial on this. So I'll just link to this video on the easiest way to get reviews. And finally, after you get reviews, then it's time to get sales. So this is a video on the best book marketing tips. Once again, the link is below this video. All right, guys, so that is how you create a how to draw book for free if you choose to do so, or outsource. Either way, the niche is very, very profitable, as you can see. So if you create a great book with a great marketing strategy to back that up, then it can do really well. So if you enjoyed the video, leave a like, subscribe. If you guys want to work with us to scale your Amazon KDP business to the next level, then you can check out the first link in the description, which is my Amazon KDP coaching program. But besides that, thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next one.